If you're a male, you're over 40, or you love a male that's over 40, then I challenge you guys to watch this video, listen to our journey, and then get yourself checked out.
Yeah. Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is Rob and Tracy Morrison. I hope that you've been watching our channel and enjoying it. I think just a little backstory about us. We are empty nesters. We have 3 girls. We started this channel because we really like the outdoors and we like to see new places. So we hope that you're enjoying the content. This video is a little bit different. We're going to talk about our journey the past 6 months. So I'll let my husband kind of kick it off here.
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys watch the channel. We think we're healthy. We exercise regularly. We try to eat a pretty good diet. And then this number and just our annual blood work came along and really changed the trajectory of our lives quite a bit. And we wanted to do this video because just talking to friends, coworkers, even family that didn't understand how the diagnosis of this worked or what the markers were, how you knew. We consistently were asked, how did you know you had this?
Which we're shocked, by the way, because, I mean, we felt like any male over 40 should know this, and clearly there's a lot of people that don't. So this is our gift to you in what we've experienced, and we'd love for you guys to do this. So
Yep. So that's it. Exactly. If you're a male, you're over 40, or you love a male that's over 40, then I challenge you guys to watch this video, listen to our journey, and then get yourself checked out.
Yeah. And by no means, we're not medical doctors. We've done a lot of research. We've done a lot of consultations with doctors. This is our perspective and our journey throughout this process.
Definitely does not replace medical professional.
No, absolutely
point.
not.
So, all right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. How this all started. So every year at age 40 or above, you need to get a PSA blood test done every year. PSA stands for Prostate-Specific Antigen. The normal range is 0 to 4. That's normal, right? And when you're above that number, that's when it's like a warning sign, and it doesn't mean you have cancer. It doesn't mean that there's something seriously wrong with you. PSA can be affected by just your age, inflammation in your body. Also, if you've done a series of heavy workouts and then your blood test is, then it can impact it as well. But here's the thing, is that the PSA is the yellow check engine light on your Jeep, right? It means, hey, there's something you need to check out. It's not the red one that everything needs to shut down. It's the yellow one that, hey, you need to get this checked, okay?
Yeah, and I would just say these things happen. Don't be freaked out, right off the bat, but it's important, especially as you get older, to have that checked. Your doctor can help you with the ranges, and you really need a baseline to move from as you get over 40.
Yep. And so we just had a normal primary care, and I think my PSA had came back, the first one was 6.9. So, not quite double the top end, but pretty high. And our primary care physician kind of consistently said, oh, it's not a worry, you're aging, you work out, all that's totally normal. And we went probably a year and a half like that, and the PSA went up a little higher. You was 7.2. I think we got to 7.6, and then we sort of went back in and we demanded to take the next step. And the next step is to see a urologist, right? Yeah. Depending on your insurance, you can do it right away, or maybe you need a referral. We wanted to see a urologist, and so we did. We were referred to one. We didn't know any better. We were kind of going through the motions a little bit. We didn't do a lot of research either. We sort of just took the one our primary care doctor referred you to. And unfortunately, I'll tell you how some of that works. Sometimes they get paid for referrals. May not be who they'd go to themselves. So just do your research on that. There's a lot of
And I would say
resources to check it out.
GPT, I'm not a sponsor of them, but man, that's a game changer in the last 3 to 4 years.
It's helped us
Because
a lot,
that was not there when you were first diagnosed. So
right.
we really just, and we hope that the doctors will send us to the right person, right? Yep. So anyway.
Okay, so referred to a urologist, went in, they're going to say, hey, listen, you're high enough, we ought to do a biopsy. And so the biopsy procedure, I've heard different stories, and I always wonder if people do different procedures. I've done 2 biopsies now, both for the identical procedure. You are anesthetized, so you're put under, you're brought into a surgical room, and then they go in and they do core samples of your prostate, anywhere 10 to 20 samples, and then they analyze each of those cores to see what the makeup of the cells are, and then they grade those. I think you're out 20, 30 minutes. It's not very long, and then you're in recovery and you go home. It is a little bit uncomfortable for probably 72 hours. You certainly bleed a lot when you go to the restroom, and certainly there's some discomfort there. And I think you can have blood up to 4 to 6 weeks, blood in your semen, blood in your stool, and blood in your urine all. So biopsy is a serious deal. So then you're in a waiting game, right?
Yeah, you wait.
Waiting to hear what happens, and then finally you get the call. And the call gives you your results that, hey, you have prostate cancer. But that was our call. And so immediately you're sort of in shock. It's kind of interesting. I think when you're diagnosed with something like that, you sort of, I don't recall hearing or thinking anything for a couple of days.
Well, actually, you got the result in the portal first, which was fantastic.
Yeah, the portals are great, but the problem is you go out there and read it yourself, and they're really confusing.
Yeah.
But we did get a call, and so then, PSA, or you receive a Gleason score is basically what happens. And Gleason scores are a 6, 7, 8 to 10. That's sort of the range of Gleason scores. A 6 means you have prostate cancer, but it's really not that severe yet.
Right.
And that's exactly what we were. We were a Gleason 6. And so it's sort of confusing because you always think, hey, the minute you get diagnosed with cancer, the faster you act on it, the higher the rates are, right?
Yeah.
So prostate cancer is a little bit different. It's a pretty slow growing cancer. It is one of the top cancers that men get, though.
Yeah.
So really common, 1 in 7 get it.
Hence why we're telling you guys, because we want you to get checked. So. And
then here's the other critical statistic is, if diagnosed while it is still within the prostate, the survival is 99%. That's it. I mean, so if you get this, you get it early, you identify it, you go through your treatment options, 99% survival rate. Once it escapes the prostate, drastically down. Depends on where it goes to next. There's lymph nodes right there, hundreds of lymph nodes in your body. Mm-hmm. It gets into those. That's almost a terminal diagnosis every time. So that's why we wanted to do this. Exactly.
It's kind of the same as like colonoscopies. So if they catch that early, you're going to be just fine. But if not, if you get the polyps out, you're going to be fine. This is the same. If you get it while it's in the capsule, you have a strong survival score. Actually, they said if you have the surgery, it's curable. So.
Okay, so Gleason score, they sort of measure it by what the cells look like in a core, and then kind of what the rate of the cells are that are cancerous. Yeah. So 3, the scores look somewhat normal, or the cells look somewhat normal. It's very slow growing. A 4, it's more abnormal. It's more likely to spread. And then a 5, it's very abnormal, very aggressive. And then Gleason scores are represented by blank plus blank. So a 3 plus 4 is a 7 Gleason score. And 7's really when you start getting on the line of like, do I take action? Do I not? 3 plus 3 is what we were. That was a 6. Kind of slower growing, and kind of what was explained to us was some of the cures are more drastic than the cancer is at that point in your life. So there's only 2 treatments, radiation or prostatectomy, where they completely remove your prostate. And those are both serious. There's the side effects to both of those are serious.
Kind of life-changing, lifestyle-changing events. So.
And so they don't want to do that until you're there. So you get put into this mode called active surveillance. Active surveillance, you do a PSA blood test every 6 months, and you do a MRI every year.
Right.
So that's where we were at, and we were in that stage for 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, quite a long time.
And I think you guys may have known I served in the military. My spine's kind of wrecked a little bit, and I had to go in for my 4th spinal fusion in November of 25.
Yeah.
I was pulling into the parking. I had my annual PSA. And my numbers now are really high. We're getting up into 16, 17s, just kind of continually. It's like a thermometer, just kind of keeps going up almost every PSA test.
Mind you, we've gone to 3 doctors by now, right?
Yeah.
So we started in Tulsa. We're from Oklahoma. And then we went to Mayo and had an evaluation there. And then the Mayo Clinic actually said, we'd then gone to OU Medical Center, and the Mayo was like, oh my gosh, the greatest doctors at OU Medical Center. So we were like, well, okay, we're going to do all of this at OU Medical Center. So we've gone to 3 doctors now, and then we have a friend that's a urologist as well, surgeon. And so we've talked to about 4 specialists along the way. So we've done our research on this.
Yeah, definitely. So we had, exactly right. OU Medical Center in Oklahoma City. Dr. Cookson is his name. He's world renowned for how great he is. So he's who we were seeing. I had pulled into the parking lot to do the pre-op 3 days before this spinal fusion. And Dr. Cookson had called and said, okay, listen, your tumor is outside, it's on the it hasn't escaped the prostate yet, but it's visible outside it in the MRI. And that was a first for me. And tumors are graded from a 1 to a 5, and these tumors were grade 5. So he said, I really want you to come in and do another confirmation biopsy so we know what to do. So unfortunately, I had the surgery 3 days later, and I was in an immobilization neck brace for 6 weeks. Gallon of milk limit, all of that. So I was going through the recovery of that, which is pretty drastic surgery. C5, 6 fusion. 3 days after I got out of the neck brace, we had the confirmation biopsy, and it was still, again, another waiting game, right? And then again, the results show up in the portal first. And we then, by this time, we took the results. And
by this time, chat was there, so we were able to cut and paste, and chat would help us understand what it was saying. So we kind of had an AI on our side this time, to be honest. So that was really helpful. But so the results came back, right? And it was like, okay, you're going to have to do something different, right? Same course, the tumor's there now. They actually did a test to determine how aggressive the cancerous cells were. So that was really helpful in determining what we do next. Because if they're pretty slow growing still, you probably can, hang tight for a little bit longer. But his were like, what is it, low, medium, high?
It was a 1 to 10.
Yeah.
So not to be confused with the Gleason score, completely separate. 1 to 10, how aggressive they were. 10's the most aggressive.
Yeah.
And mine were, and it was a weird decimal number. They were like a 7.2. So Dr. Cookson gave us 90 days to make a decision because he felt within 90 days things were going to get drastically worse.
Right.
So just came out of the fusion, and fusion takes a year to heal. And here we are. This is January now, right?
Correct. Yeah.
That we did the biopsy. So then you got some decisions to make. And I do want to go back real quick just to touch on something because we have had this question asked of us 2 or 3 times. Gleason score is kind of confusing. So they've also started recently using a grade group score. So a Gleason 6 is a grade group 1. Again, lower numbers, a Gleason 7. So this is a 3 plus 4 or 4 plus 3. is grade groups 2 or 3, depending on kind of what that number is. Whether a 3 plus 4 is different than a 4 plus 3. 4 plus 3 is worse because the aggressiveness of the cells comes first. So grade group 2 to 3 is a 7, and then a Gleason 8 plus is a grade group 4. So I did have someone just a couple weeks ago call me and ask me that they'd got a diagnosis and they were calling it a grade group. What did that mean? So that's sort of what or Gleason 8 is a 4, sorry. 9 to 10 is a grade group 5. So there's 5 grade groups. They're broken up across the Gleason score. So I did want to come back to that real quick. So I hope you guys watched the videos. We actually had got out of the neck brace, had got released from the spinal surgeon to sort of get in the Jeep again finally in the end of February. And so we hit the Table Mesa Jeep Jamboree. I hope you guys watched those couple of videos that have came out.
Hot as hell out there.
It was in the 90s in February.
Camera.
It was nice. It was nice to sort of have a break because, we're really active, and that immobilization, I sit on the couch for months because I'll post a picture. You're in this neck brace that you actually crank up even to keep you from being able to move your neck. So you're really not able to do anything. You get to take it off when you take a shower and when you eat, and that was it. So 6 weeks of that wasn't very fun. So then we decided that we were going to do the surgery. I'll tell you real quick about my research, what I feel like my research led to, and this is not advice for you guys. You got to do your own. You got to find a professional probably that you trust. Yeah, you got 2 options in front of you that we researched. There's only 2 treatments. There's 2 mainstream treatments. There's several sort of non-mainstream functional type treatments. We actually did try several of those.
For years.
Thousands of dollars in
ozone IVs,
filtering and ozone and all kinds of things. High dose vitamin C. None of that worked for us.
Right.
There's also some other things you'll hear, like a Tulsa surgery, not Tulsa the city. That's a procedure. A lot of those just aren't.
It just depends on what type of cancer you have and how aggressive your cancer is, where it is, all the things, right? So, and having all the different conversations based on his numbers, based on his scenario, where the location of the tumor was, based on his age. I mean, that was a big factor, right? So you consider that, like, if you're 75, this is a different conversation, right? Because the cancer doesn't grow that fast for most people. His was a medium to medium high, so he probably would have made the same decision. But you really have surgery or radiation.
Yep. And we met with both of those guys. Correct. Both of them through the OU Stevenson Cancer Center, and both of them are fantastic. We love both of the doctors there. Right. My research led to, if you have the surgery, when you wake up from surgery, you will have incontinence. That means you'll have leakage of urine. You can't control it. And you will have ED, or erectile dysfunction. The day you wake up, you will have those 2 things.
And a lot of pain.
Oh, yeah. A considerable amount of pain, for sure. You wear a catheter for 2 weeks with the surgery. When the catheter comes out, those muscles that sort of close that stuff off, they've been already been, surgery around all those, and they literally cut part of your body out and then stitch you back together. You'll have 6 incision marks around you, and even though your prostate's, way down here, they pull it out right above your belly button. So that's with surgery. Now with surgery, there's some statistics, you can look them up. I'm certain that they're changing frequently, as well as the percentage of men getting prostate cancer continues to climb year over year, and they're not certain why. It's 1 in 7 now, but it could get higher after that. Yeah, anything that increases testosterone in your body, be it
I think all the T clinics, all that is
all of that can definitely feed and help nurture prostate cancer. So back to the surgery. You wake up and you have these issues, and then when you get the catheter out after 2 weeks, and it is hell on earth, the catheter is. Then all those muscles are they've given up. They've given up trying to close it off. So you leak even more. And then once you've been kind of doing this therapy to rehabilitate all of that, you also you'll you get to where you can't leak, but your bladder just can't hold anything. You quarter cup at best, and you got to go to the bathroom every 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And now with the radiation, radiation, I think ours, and they project different days for different people. Ours was 28 days straight,
Mm-hmm.
and it was about 2 hours a day. You'll come to the hospital, you would, get into the office, they put you on the table, set the machine, hit go, and you're out. You're dressed and leaving in about 2 hours. You, nothing changes for you. It's just like a normal day. Our understanding is towards the end, you'll begin to get a little bit tired. You'll feel some fatigue, but you don't have the leakage issues and you don't have the ED issues.
Now, mind you, everybody's different. So, this is just what we were told.
We're talking averages here. And then you'll go on what's called a testosterone blocker, because they don't want any testosterone in your body at all. And then you can be on, and I think our projection was 12 to 18 months on a blocker. And the longer you're on that, the more fatigued you feel, the less energy you kind of have. Now let me jump back to the surgery real quick. I didn't cover that very well, but so you have this incontinence and you have ED. And 95% of men overcome both of those with time. And it can take up to 48 months, though. Incontinence usually resolves faster. It's I can't remember the exact numbers. Again, different for everybody, but it's kind of a 3 to 8 month thing. And then the ED is more like 12 to 48 months that self-resolves itself, and you.
And really, that's just
normal.
because they have cut through a lot of the nerve endings, and so those nerves, by no means, we're not doctors, but those nerves have to regenerate and heal, and it just takes longer for that area to work itself out. So
yeah, the prostate is kind of a saddle almost that sits around that nerve, and when they remove that. So then with radiation on the flip side, so you wake up, you're fine for the whole course of it, but sometime in your life, and it could be 2 years after, and it could be 10 years after, you will get, this is 100 out of 100, you will get incontinence or ED, and it'll be permanent. So that's why we said, hey, if you were older, your life expectancy was shorter, the radiation to us made more sense.
Yep.
If your life expectancy was longer, then the surgery made more sense to us.
Right. Well, and the only thing too that the doctor said was, like I said before, is that the surgery was curable.
Curative?
So it's curative, which means it's the only thing that would cure it. So, for instance, you could do radiation and then it could come back. Well, at that point, they cannot take the prostate out anymore because the radiation has made it, and it's made it unable for the surgeons to remove at that point. So then there's a whole list of other things that have to be done after that.
Yeah,
right?
well, one of the nurses gave us this great analogy. Sidebar, everything in the military is written to the 6th grade level in the Army, so I always love analogies that take me to the 6th grade level to understand. But this analogy she gave us was, picture a dinner roll, open it up, put a piece of cheese on it, put the top back on the dinner roll, stick it in the microwave, and microwave it. And your prostate's that piece of cheese. And what happens with radiation is it literally melts whatever they radiate. They melt your prostate into all the tissue there. And you couldn't have surgery after that because they can't cut enough of your tissue out to get it all out. Or they'd have to remove so much tissue that it would be
might as well have
seriously
surgery.
detrimental. Okay, so I think a couple things. The reality is this loss of function, the changes to your body. There's a mental side of that for men. Like, hey, you literally, for the first few weeks after the catheter, you're going to wear a diaper because you can't control it. I think I saw Deion Sanders even sponsored by Depends now. After his bladder cancer, he's in the same exact boat. That kind of weighs on your mind. And then eventually you'll get to where you can just wear a pad that sort of absorbs. And then hopefully you get to where you have none of that. But that's it. there's a mental hit to those things. ED's another mental kind kind of a mental hit.
Especially if you're younger, right? So.
I think biggest surprises in the surgery, man, the pain level. Oh, gosh, I mean, I've had 4 spinal fusions, rotator repair, torn rotators, and man, this hurt a lot.
Yeah, it's just in a weird spot too, right? So you're sitting, you can't do anything, so you're sitting. I don't know. Maybe, I guess the back was same, a little bit same scenario.
Yeah,
but,
lower spine fusion. They
yeah.
cut through all of your back muscles, peel it open, get in there, and do their work, and your low back supports everything. That's pretty painful.
I mean, we don't want to scare you from doing this, because if you get your PSA and you have to take action, it's definitely something that needs to be done. Mm-hmm. We just really wanted to create some awareness around this situation. We know a lot of our viewers are male, and a lot of folks we've been very, very surprised at how many people have asked him, what is PSA?
Yeah. Well, how did you find out?
And we're like,
how'd you know you have prostate cancer?
What?
Right? Oh, PSA was the trigger.
Yeah.
And they're like, what is that? And these are people our age.
Crazy that their general, physician is not checking their PSA once they're over 40.
Yeah,
so.
You guys are your own advocate. You go in and say, I want this test.
Right.
I think out of pocket, it's like $25, even if you had to pay out of pocket, but they just add it to your annual blood work that I hope you're already doing for cholesterol and some other things. It shouldn't cost you anything. Your insurance should pay for it. And I think that's our takeaway is 99% survival rate. I think our story is a little bit different. One other piece, OU, the center there has the latest generation MRI machines. It's literally as good as you can get. Mm-hmm. We also did a PSMA PET scan where they inject you with this specific radioactive material, let it circulate through your body, and then they do a scan from the bridge of your nose to your knees. Yep. That's supposed to tell them if any of the PSA cells have escaped the capsule. Yeah. They always call the prostate as a capsule, and if the cancer gets out of the capsule, it has escaped the capsule. It came back negative. Nope, didn't happen. The problem was when we had the surgery, our surgeon got in there. He could tell it had escaped the capsule because the tissue surrounding tissue on the left side, he could see where the cancer had infected it, and he had to continue to cut until he got to non-infected tissue. Surgery took longer than they expected. I think 4.5 hours under, woke up not feeling very happy. So I think the point of that is, hey, here's all the latest and greatest tests said it didn't escape the capsule, and yet it had. So for us, the pathology
that was kind
on
of a
that
bummer,
says,
actually.
Yeah, it really is.
So
the pathology on that is you're more likely than not to have to do something else, radiation or chemo in the future. We have another big test coming up June of this year.
So I guess because of that, we're still a little bit in waiting mode on this journey. So because there is a slight variation in that pathology, we will just be on pins and needles, honestly, until the end of June. I guess it's June or July when he does another PSA. July. So the intent is the PSA should be 0. If it's not 0, we have a problem. So we're hoping from our perspective now that we will be over this hump and on the road to recovery. We'll see. But we really wanted you guys to understand kind of where we've been and what we've been going through. And honestly, just to use this platform for you guys to get more knowledge and education and get yourself tested.
Yeah, exactly. That's it's probably isn't the greatest story to talk about, even for me to tell. But if it helps anybody else, right? If it's your husband, if it's your son, it's your father, make sure they're doing this, right? 99% survival rate if you catch it in the prostate. And this is a true story. We were in between the surgeries. I was at the VA in the waiting room. Our local VA has, 40 chairs maybe in it. Yeah. And Tracy had dropped me off because she had to go run an errand, and then she was going to come back. And I was there to do some annual blood work. And true. This older gentleman came in and he sat right next to me.
It's
just
like when you're in a parking lot and somebody parks beside you and you're like, really, dude?
Yeah, 40
Same
chairs.
thing.
I'm
Same
the
thing.
only one in the
Yeah.
lobby. Guy comes and sits beside me, much older gentleman, but he's a funny guy. He turns to me and he asked me what I was in for, and I said, oh, I'm just for some annual blood work. And I said, well, what about you? And he said, well, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer and I didn't do anything about it. Now I have rectal cancer, and we're trying to determine what to do. So I asked one of the workers in the VA, like, you see that guy, he's there, right? He's real. I mean, you'll talk about God sending people into your life to deliver a message.
Because you still always wonder, like, am I making the right decision? Did I make the right decision? And so honestly, we felt like that was just like, I don't know, a message from an angel just saying, just do it. So anyway.
Yeah, so that's it. I think we can wrap this up. That's our life the last 6 months. I still have another, I think, 6 months before the spinal fusion's completely healed. I think, but totally kind of out of pain. Completely takes about a year. Also on the prostate, I have some days that it's really rough going to the bathroom. And then other days, I feel totally normal. Energy level's still tough to get back. Still limited on exercises. I think my weight restrictions have been removed, but we bike Peloton a lot. With the spinal fusions, you can't do anything that is impact or axial load. So we bike a lot, and I still can't sit on the bike. I can't sit on the rower yet, so I'm still limited to kind of walking on the treadmill or hiking. So we're struggling to get back to some of that stuff, but anyway,
it hasn't been that long.
It. Yeah, it hasn't.
I think you're just getting antsy. So
yeah.
Bottom line, get your PSA checked. Be very careful. I'm just going to say this. Be very careful if you're taking testosterone. Just monitor it. I know it's great for fatigue and all that good stuff, but I think there's a correlation. So just be very careful. But just keep an eye on it. And if you have any questions or you need to reach out and ask questions of Rob, he'll be happy to answer anything you got. But we appreciate you watching our channel. So
7slotstudios@gmail.com. Is you guys can reach us that way. Instagram, Facebook messages.
Or comment, whatever.
Yeah. Seriously, happy to talk about it with any of you guys that are going through this. Thanks, you guys.
Thank
I appreciate you watching.